The Mose Knows podcast, hosted by Cory Mose, greatly appreciates you for tuning into this week's episode. Enjoy.
Good morning.
And good evening, beautiful people. Deon, man, we got the people a great show today. You feel me? Got the Austin FC head coach Josh Wolff on for an exclusive interview with the boys. And of course, a little update about Texas and how they're doing on the 40 acres. Some historic stuff happening for the Longhorns. And then later in the show, we're going to speak about the WNBA. This is the week that they begin their regular season. Of course, Caitlin Clark has been a huge topic of conversation. Should she be? Should she not be? Or should this be too much, I guess I should say, for everything happening on Twitter right now, especially with Angel Reese and, of course, Cameron Brink and Camila Cardoso and all these other names that are already in the WNBA. Should they be getting more shine? Whoop-de-whoop. That's a whole topic of conversation right now. So we're going to talk about it later in the show. But for right now, though, Deon, I know it's been a couple weeks since we last chatted. So how has your weeks been, and how you living nowadays?
Man, I'm glad we're back. Episode 21. The last time we recorded, it's been an eventful week, I know, for both of us. We ended up having brunch. All right. Our boy Cory ended up coming to Dallas. We ended up having brunch. That was dope. And I sent in my last project for my cybersecurity class. So I got a few, like 2 or 3 more quizzes I need to turn in. And your boy will be working on, looking for a job. So that next chapter is on the horizon. So I'm excited for that. I know I didn't get to say it last time, but happy birthday to you. Happy belated.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, man, it was good seeing you in person. We talked about some good stuff. How about yourself, man? How was your weeks?
Yeah, man, big 27 now. It's weird. I was actually talking to a homie, and they asked me like, aren't you 26 still? And I was like, yeah, I'm 26. And then, it took me a minute to think, no, I'm not 26 anymore. I'm actually 27. So I got to start saying that to people. But it's, I'm still closer to 25 than I am to 30. That's the way I look at it. So, it was great seeing you as well, Brody. If y'all don't know, Deon has one of the most complicated brunch, orders, I should say.
Not saying this.
He's doing an extra egg, fried hard. He wants his pancakes a certain way. It's like, bro, just let them do their jobs. Golly, you acting like a chick that goes to Starbucks every day.
And to add more context, I am a regular. So at this brunch place that we go to anytime he comes down here, and so it's not complicated. He's new to this. He's not true to this, is what he's saying.
Okay, my bad. Just give me chicken fried steak and eggs, bro. I'm a real simple guy. Except, you like to add stuff to your order. But anyways, yeah, my week has been straight though. And then of course, birthday was great. Felt all the love, and good to be back on the grind. This week coming out for KView, I got a story releasing about the Texas high school football new rule change for the UIL. And so they're allowing technology now in the press box and in the locker rooms during halftime. And so, like I said, I got a story coming out this week. Should be on Wednesday when I release that story. So pretty excited about that because I've been working on it the past week. And really great information about how the landscape of Texas high school football is about to change. But anyways, what else is changing on the 40 acres is a lot of success, I should say. Texas softball has stepped into a new role that they've never been in program history. They're the number 1 seed in the NCAA softball championship. This is the first time ever for the Longhorns to ever get the number 1 overall seed. Of course, teams like Oklahoma usually takes that spot, but this is the first time ever, and they've earned it. They've been the number 1 team in the country for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they've been able to keep winning these series and keep blowing out teams and run rolling teams. And this is a great squad. So it'll be real interesting to see how far they can go and if they're able to capture softball's first ever championship for the school. So that'll be real cool to kind of keep your eye out on the next couple of weeks as they transpire. And of course, Oklahoma is the number 2 overall seed. So Deon, we could get, I guess you could say it's not the rematch. What would you say the third one is?
The trilogy?
The trilogy there. I like that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the trilogy between Texas and OU could be the championship game or the championship series out there in Oklahoma City. So, yeah, great stuff happening on the softball state of things.
Quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Before the season, was this something that we could have been expecting for Texas to be as good as they are, to be a number one seed, or was this kind of a shocker?
Well, of course, they had a bunch of players returning that were great, like Amia Scott, like a Reese Atwood. And so, they're coming back and knowing the time they have back. I think the question was the freshman class, right? How great is this class? And they're great, bro. I mean, a hitter like Katie Stewart, she's been phenomenal at the plate and making big-time hits in big-time games. She actually had a big-time hit against Oklahoma on the biggest stage in that series. And so it's funny enough, though, I asked Coach similar to that question, and he mentioned how their goal to start the year was just to be a top 8 seed. And so, to be honest, that was their goal. So in that words, they overachieved in their mind, or I guess achieved what they thought they could do, but that wasn't the goal to be the number one team in the country. They just wanted to be top 8 once the season started. But once you get the ball rolling and you start to see, we got a really nice squad, of course, those goals start to adapt and evolve. And I think they feel like they deserve the number one seed, and I think they deserve it too. And now it's just time to prove it, right? The show, or I guess I should say the season begins now, technically. Coach called the regular season like the qualifying round, but now this is the actual season with the postseason here. And so, to answer your question, I think they expect it to be good for sure, but we're talking historically great. I don't think you can predict that, or I guess try to uphold to that type of standard without knowing who you are to start the season. But yeah, dude, they're legit. They're legit. But when it comes to baseball, they had high expectations too this year. And of course, they had the rocky start to begin things, like always for every Texas baseball team, I feel like. And now they're 5 straight series wins in the Big 12. They seem to be on a roll. They seem to find their closer and Gage Bame, and their bats continue to stay hot. And look, bro, like they're in the thick of the Big 12 race. They probably won't win the Big 12, but the fact that they're even in the top 3, comparing it to when they started the season, I mean, no one could have really expected this unless you pay attention to the last couple of seasons. The way it's gone has been exactly this whole formula. Start bad, pick things up towards the end of the year, and then they're on a roll heading into the postseason. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And so everyone who wanted Coach Pierce fired, you may have to wait another year because the dude continues to do what he's been doing the past couple of years, man. They win at the right times. And so sorry for all those haters out there that want Coach Pierce gone.
Yeah, this is like the 5th coach you told me that people want fired. It's just so funny. Right? Every coach you name on here, you have to reassure them like, yeah, sure, he won't be getting fired, at least not right now. And that's just a crazy thing that I'm noticing with Texas fans. They are, either we win or we lose, and the coach needs to be gone. And Cory, it's funny, I talked about it, like coaches don't have no leeway nowadays. You have max 2 years, and if you don't produce anything even close to winning, people are wanting you out of there. And that's kind of a crazy thing. Like you even look at NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Vogel just got fired 1 year. The Bucks fired a coach that had a winning record. It's just funny that coaches, now they're paying these players all this money and NIL. The coaches are the first one to hit the door.
Yeah, it's sad too, because you want to give them time to grow, develop, and get their guys, but if they only have a 2-year span, then they can't do that. They can't develop a culture. I look at Steve Sarkisian with football, and if they would have fired him after year 2, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in right now. But they let Sark cook. They let the culture grow, and now look where they're at. They're going to be considered a top 5 team once that preseason poll comes out. And so you just got to let these coaches have time to develop and get their guys in the portal, get their guys in recruiting, so then they can build a culture. And you spoke about like how sometimes people need to give them time to kind of get close to that championship before firing them. And Coach Pierce, funny enough, he's been to the College World Series. Like he's won super regionals. Like I just don't understand why this conversation is happening about him getting his job taken away, because he's been successful while at UT. And same thing with Ronnie Terry. Like Ronnie Terry just had the team at the Elite 8. Like, what are we talking about? Firing this guy after his first year being the full-time head coach. So yeah, dude, Longhorn Nation, they're funny at times. I love it. I love the passion. I love the
Right.
passion for the Longhorns, but let's be realistic too. Like these coaches are trying, and you gotta let them cook a little bit. And I know things seems like the sky is falling at certain parts of the season, but a lot of times they're just going through growing pains. And look where they're at now. You gotta let it cook. So yeah, so baseball is doing well now, thank God. And also, Deon, Texas men's and women's track team, I gotta give them a shout out. They both won the Big 12 championships. So now that puts Texas, check this, that put Texas at 14 Big 12 titles, right, for the year throughout all their sports. That is the most Big 12 titles they've ever gotten in a single season ever in school history. And it's funny because it's the last year.
They went out on a bang.
That's how you go out, right? That's how you go out. It's like, all right, you're going to kick us out, or I guess we're leaving technically, but you want to give us all this hate for leaving the conference? Say less. We're just going to win every sport. I mean, that's a flex to me.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Even that Texas Tech picture I sent you, that they beat them in every sport this year. I was like, oh damn, that's sad, bro. Every sport, shit.
Especially for Tech too, because I worked out in West Texas for a little bit, 2.5 years out there in Midland, Odessa, and they hate Texas. Like coming here, people like to say like, oh, UT bumps their head up and it's all a facade, like embrace the hate. No one really cares that much about UT. They haven't been to West Texas. West Texas, they think about UT 24/7, I feel like. And anytime they can thrash or bash UT, they are going to do it. And if they win one game, oh man, you won't hear it. I mean, you won't stop hearing it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like that really is, they have rent in their mind with UT. Like it really is pretty bad when it comes to Texas Tech. And so the fact that a team that they hate so bad continues to beat them in every sport, that must be like demoralizing. It really does, but sucks to suck, right? Sucks to suck. You got to beat them in something, maybe bowling.
You see how the Lakers feel when it comes to the Nuggets. The one-sided rivalry.
Yeah, you like to call it is it a rivalry at that point though, if we're being honest?
Like I say, one-sided.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry for one. It's a rivalry for one side. The other side's like, oh, it's just another day at the office.
Yeah, facts. Well, there was also a rivalry down in Frisco this past weekend with Austin FC playing FC Dallas for the Copa Tejas. Well, another match for Copa Tejas, I guess I should say. And we were able to kind of talk to Coach Josh Wolff before their matchup. But before we get into that, just want to talk about the game in general. Austin FC did lose that match to FC Dallas 2-1. A lot of it came off, I guess I said the reasoning of the loss should be blamed on Sebastian Driussi making a bad pass on his side of the pitch. And then, of course, that led to FC Dallas's first goal early in the match too, Deon. It kind of set the tone and kind of startled Austin FC a little bit. But after that goal, I would say their defense was really solid. They didn't give up another goal to the second half. But they had a bunch of great transition defense plays, something that Coach Wolff has been open about that they need to improve on. And they did it in this last match, I felt like. Julio Cascante had a great defending. Like, he dove with his leg, bro, and, like, jumped for a shot. It was kind of crazy. I don't know if he does yoga or, like, Pilates. Maybe he does Pilates, But the flexibility to do that, I would have pulled a hammy. But the fact is, though, they had great defense. They controlled possession for most of the match. They had a bunch of great chances to score more goals. They just couldn't hit the back of the net. And unfortunately, that led to a loss. But one thing I just wanted to show before we get into this interview is, we spoke about how Seba had a mistake, right? And, a lot of the times when mistakes happen, that's just a one-off situation. And it's something I'm learning while covering this sport. It's nothing you can fix, right? That's just like a mess up. Like, he messed up, boom, led to a goal, not much you can do. And so just listen to this soundbite by midfielder Danny Pereira as he talks about, like, Seba making that mistake and how they kind of move on in the middle of a match while something that catastrophic happened.
Nah, he's our best player. He's our captain, our best player, our soul. Everything goes through him. When we have successes, it's usually because of him. So he knew right away he made a bad pass, Just like when you make a mistake at your job, you fucked up, and just got to move on. I try to not say anything to him because I know he knows. So just move on real quick, like switch the page, just go again, go get a goal, and you forget about it. He got a PK, kind of gave him a boost. That's his 100th goal in his career. So, um, yeah, he's our guy, and doesn't matter who else is gonna back him up.
So yeah, clearly, dude recognizes that he messed up. We can just move on, right? And Seba was able to do that. He scored the PK, and next thing you know, they had a bunch of momentum to kind of tie that one up. They weren't able to tie it up, but at the end of the day, they felt like they played a great game, and they gave that game away. So unfortunately, we don't get any points on a road match. But look, you just got to move on to the next one. And the next one's a pretty important one, too, against Houston on Wednesday. But before we talk about anything else, let's dive into our conversation with Austin FC head coach Josh Wolff. We talked to him, like I said, before the match against FC Dallas for context purposes. And we were able to find out a little bit about him personally, which I was kind of happy that he opened up a little bit with us. And you get to find out a couple things about the head coach that you may not have known beforehand. I am super excited for this interview right now. Joining us is a man that has 52 appearances for the U.S. men's national team, a 3-time U.S. Open Cup champion, 1998 MLS Cup champion, first and only Austin FC head coach, and arguably the best hair in all of MLS, for the coaches, I should say. Sure. Josh Wolff, how you doing, my guy?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me, Cory.
Oh, man, great to see you. Big day today up there in FC Dallas. What's kind of like the game plan for like the, I guess, a schedule before a match? How do y'all usually do that? Like, what y'all do, lunch or something?
Yeah, there's an open breakfast for the guys in the morning. We'll have, it's a day of eating mainly. So I try to stay away from the meals as much as I can because it's literally mostly just hanging out in the hotel. And we'll have a little pre-match right before we head to the stadium just to give last little bits of details. But, most guys hang out. Pretty low key and try to save the energy and be ready for the game.
Yeah, and this game today, Copa Tejas, you gotta love that, huh? Love the type of rivalry. And you mentioned earlier this week during our press conference how you and Coach Nico are pretty close. So that just sparked my interest. How often do y'all get to talk, and do y'all ever text back, throw a couple jabs here and there at all?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we jab too much. I mean, it's more we work together in Columbus. We work together with the national team. I went over and had a couple of drinks with him and his wife and his kids last night. So he's a good friend, and he's a really good dude. He's a good coach, and we know living in this space, it's challenging and time is difficult to find. So I think it's just important, again, keep connecting with people, friends on and off the field. But he's a coach. He lives in this space, so we can talk about all the things that are good and bad about what we do, but also get away from it and talk about family and all the other things that go on in this world. So, but it's good. He's a good dude. It's much appreciated for the time with him.
Well, today y'all will be foes on the pitch. Mm-hmm. And so what are you hoping to see out of your guys today for this match against FC Dallas?
I think it's challenging coming to Dallas. I don't think we've come here and won a game. I think we've come here and we've competed well, and we've remained pretty disciplined in some of our games. But we, like I've been saying lately, we want to, show the discipline, show the grit when we need to, show our quality when those opportunities are there. But playing on the road is challenging. It's a rivalry game. We'll have good fans in the stands. We beat Dallas a few weeks ago at home, and kind of it started a little bit of our momentum. So we know what these games can be about. We also know how they can. Certainly bring momentum into a team season. We felt that, after we beat them and then we beat San Jose, and we had an uptick. So we want to do our part to make it really, really challenging on Dallas today. And, that's both with and without the ball. But, a big part of it starts with mentality, what it's going to be like against this opponent, knowing how we can nullify some of their strengths. But as I said, when we can find opportunities and we can find their vulnerabilities, we have to make the most of those opportunities.
Yeah, you
Coach,
mentioned
that's oh my bad, Cory.
No, you got it.
But Coach, that's actually perfect that you mentioned it. That momentum. What would you contribute to your scoring uptick? Would it be more of your offense coming together, or your defense kind of stepping up in these last stretch of games?
I think it's a byproduct of everything that we've been doing. I think you end the season in 23 as to what it is. You come into 24 trying to know who your personnel are, who the players are that we have, what you want to work on in preseason. You have 7 games. We know what the start of the season is going to look like. Things happen. There's injuries, and I think that's also what played into the beginning of the year. We lost Seba before the first game, and we missed him for about 4 or 5 games. We lost Leo 20 minutes in, so having a full complement of players gives our group the very best opportunity. And there were things to work on, and there still are things to work on, but we put a lot of work in preseason. And, when we didn't have those guys, it certainly affected our ability to perform early on. But as we've gotten them back, and there were still positives in those games, those challenging games that we had that we maybe didn't get the wins, and we keep building off of those things. But, a big part is having Seba on the field, having Driussi on the field makes our team better. It makes players feel better. It makes the players around him better. And, once we've had him involved, we've had more consistency. We've scored more goals. The defending as a group has been much, much better this year. We as I've mentioned, we put a good amount of work into that. And that's a collective effort as well. It's not just Brad making saves, which he has made some really critical saves, but the back line holding up when we need, but Seba and Giassi and Diego doing a good job. It starts with those guys, but it bleeds through the entire group. Johan, Alex, Pepe, all these guys. Everyone contributes. So it's not just one person at either end. When we have the ball, our goal is a big part of us having the ball and scoring goals. And when we don't have the ball, they're all part of it as we have to defend collectively.
And you spoke about the importance of having Seba on the pitch compared to earlier in this year and to this point now. And of course, everyone talks about his goal scoring, but what I've been kind of impressed with was his pressure on defense has really been good this year. And so what have you seen on that side of play when it comes to his intentionality to be so effective on the defensive end?
Yeah, he's a winner. He's a competitor. Anything he's doing, every day he steps on the field, it's about winning. And it's a compliment to him. He is more times than not the best player on the field, and he could take plays off if he really wanted to, but that's not who he is. I mean, he knows how important each and every play is. You don't get to pick and choose which plays lead to goals for or against, but when he's in and around the ball, he's committed to making plays when we have it, and if we don't have it, how he can affect and influence us retaining possession. But I agree. The LA Galaxy game, it was a big game. There's some big players on the field. And again, where he may not have scored, he was a huge influence on the day. And, we want him to score more goals. We have to support him with more players and creating more opportunities because he can score. He can score goals. He's shown that. But, his willingness, his leadership on and off the field this year has grown tremendously, and that's just one way that it's advanced.
Yeah, and you spoke about the highs and lows this season. Deon wanted to talk to you about that as well.
Yeah. With you being a former player now, a coach, I mean, how do you deal with the highs and the lows of this long MLS season?
Long.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think you come to know the space. I came into this league in '98 as a player. I played under some really good coaches. The season has gotten longer. This league has evolved and changed over time as well. And I think as a coach, you can't get caught up in the roller coaster of each result. Results don't always tell the story in these games. So whether it's winning or losing, there's things that we need to look at and take positives and areas to improve on. And, there's fine margins that decide these games. And that's just the reality of sport. And, we focus on certain things that we want to train, principles and ideas, and how we can coordinate those actions. And the more consistency we can have in those, each player understanding their role and the details, the more consistency in our play and our decision-making and our execution. So it all plays a role, but our process doesn't change. I don't allow really anything to influence how we go about our work. We want to come in, we want to review, we want to reflect, we want to refine. Ultimately, we want to try and put the players in a space to succeed each and every week. And, there's little things every week that maybe changes. We just try not to change a whole lot to keep these guys in a very good space, both physically and emotionally. And that's a big part of it. But the results are very, very important for players, but we can't allow everything to hinge on just results. We have to keep in mind what we're trying to do over the short term and the long term.
Yeah, listen to Brendan this week. He mentioned how the results do help, right? Like when you're talking about winning these points and then coming to training the next day and being like, okay, bet I could stay a couple hours later, to keep working. Because clearly it's working,
You win a game. Your food tastes better. It looks sunnier out. Your kids are behaving better. There's a lot to be said about winning,
Yeah.
but it is a feeling, and it's crazy to say that, like that it can emotionally change you so much. You can play really, really well, and you lose a lead late or something, and it just affects an emotion. But we got to be very conscious of that. I think that's one of the big things we've learned, or I've learned as a coach, is where are the players physically? Where are they emotionally? What's the ride been like thus far? And when do you pull back on certain things, and when can you add certain things? And when you're winning, there's opportunity. Players are a little more open. They're a little more willing. You can be a little bit more, diligent in some of the detail that they usually don't want to see or hear, and that's important. They have to keep growing, and we have to keep developing throughout the entire season, wins or losses. But I think you got to be mindful of how you approach it, when you approach it. You can't just hammer players all the time. They need the love. They need to feel believed in, respected. Ultimately, they want honesty to some degree, but they also want to know how they can be helped, how they can keep getting better.
And it's clear that you've been learning yourself about how to become a better coach. So I just wanted to ask you, since 2019, after taking this position, what have you kind of evolved in the most, you feel like, when it comes to your coaching style?
There's a lot. I think there's a lot that's changed in a short amount of time. I think you come in, as a coach, here's philosophically what we want to do. You're going to hammer these things, you're going to stick to it. But as we've learned right out of the gates in 2020, it was a long season. It was a congested season. It's an expansion year. It's going to be challenging, but you learn from that, and you learn who you are and the areas that you need to improve, what the makeup of the team needs to be. And then as you make those adjustments, you see how successful things can be when you make certain additions and you start to address certain things. And, again, you learn again from another year. You have a lot of injuries. So you may want to do the things and play the way you want to play, but you also have to be aware of what are the elements, what are the contents of the makeup of your group now. And you still have to find ways to cater to the better qualities of your group. And if you're losing 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, there are adjustments that you have to make, and it may not look the way that I want it to look. While we're still trying to find results, you want to perform, you want to stick to your philosophy, but results are a big driver. We want to make playoffs and we want to compete, and that's a big part of it. But there are some concessions that you have to make when you don't have all your players available that you want. You still want to remain true to who you are, but you got to find ways to now maximize who's available, but also when you have momentum, how to maximize momentum, and when it's going against you, how to quell that noise and how to quell that emotion, and keep these guys in a good space to keep building and keep producing, because it's a long season and you're gonna have ups and downs. So for me as a coach, there's a lot that goes into that, and how you prepare for games, how you prepare trainings, even video, just from a learning standpoint. I think those are the areas where you really start to understand it, and even the high performance we live in. It's so warm, and it will get so warm. We have to be mindful of what that looks like every day. We travel, day, we fly back after. Physically, emotionally, where are these players? And in order to maximize their qualities, we have to be very cognizant of emotionally where are they, and physically where are they.
Yeah, and it seems like your club is starting to get the identity of who you want it to be defensively. I know Brendan talked about it this week, just how he embraces that side of the ball, of course, being a defender, but you feel like everyone's kind of buying in. And, it sparked my mind from last year at y'all's fundraiser when I interviewed Danny after he received that award. One of the things he said was, we just have to trust coach's system for next year. And it seems like they're doing that now. So as a coach, how does it feel to see your players embrace the mentality that you've been trying to preach throughout this whole preseason and for the past couple of years?
Yeah, I think it's good that they're thinking about what we want as coaches and their role inside of that. Certainly my ideas. I'm the coach, and I try to project who we want to be from an identity standpoint, a philosophy standpoint. Roto is obviously part of that as well now, and we've typically been a very offensive-minded team, and we still are. And we've had what 21 look like, 22 look like, 23 look like. So we're still quite young, we're still learning, but I think there's been a real concerted effort on my part as a coach, our staff, to hammer in on some of the details of the defending side a bit more than we did in years past. And it's certainly in a space of what we learned from 23 in some regards, and even from 22. But good teams, sustainable success comes from being a very well-rounded, balanced team. And 22, we scored 60 something goals, and we were aggressive. We gave up 40. We're probably middle of the table. And last year, there were plenty of opportunities for us to do better at both ends of the field, and we just didn't do that. So, the things that we wanted to address, I love that the guys are talking about it. I love when I'm in a meeting and I hear Pepe say, we got to be willing to suffer. Those are words. Until you go out and put those into action, they're just words. And we've talked really poignantly about that this year. And I keep bringing up, we're lucky to play this game. We get to watch the very best teams and players in the world play in Champions League, Premier League, Spanish League, wherever you want to watch. But when they're competing and something's on the line, the maximal effort that these players are giving at both ends of the field is really, really compelling. And I talk about Seba. You just mentioned his desire to compete and work is remarkable, and he is the starting point for a lot of that. And those players around him, we have fallen in line with that. His commitment to do these things, our ability to train and bring these forward to the players, I think has put our players in a good space. It won't mean anything if we don't validate it by performances on the field and getting results. So for the players, that's been a big part of it. And Brendan is an experienced player, Julio, experienced player, and defenders love getting shutouts. Goalies love getting shutouts. We love getting shutouts. But it's not just one person, one player, or one play. It's a collective unit now, showing the grittiness, and it's an important quality to show, the resiliency. But we want to keep scoring goals. We know we have to. We want to be good at both ends of the field. So we got lots of work to do. We got a lot of games left, but it's been a good little run. We want to keep, as we said, we want to keep momentum.
Yeah, I like to see the personalities starting to flourish a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love Diego, by the way. I mean, that guy is just a little firecracker, I feel like, on the pitch, and love that energy, though. You know what I'm saying? But you mentioned the 2022 team, right, and the success y'all had that year. Are there any similarities that you've seen to this point between the two squads from that year to this year?
I think you're seeing a grittiness to the group. The 22 group was, again, 22 group, it starts to unfold as the season unfolds, but it's, again, from a reflection of what 2021 was. And, we learned some things really the last part of 2021 as we got Sebastian Driussi and Musa. We knew we had some things that were lacking. We knew there were some things that we had some really good pieces to build off of. We had a good spine inside the group, as we do this year. I think we have a good spine through the middle of the field. When I talk about Brad being there, Julio, Brendan, Leo, obviously Matt Hedges, Alex, Jojo, Pepe, Seba, and Diego. So the spine of the group is good. We have good support players. 2022, we were extremely healthy, which was a big plus. We got out of the gates extremely fast. And that helped validate some of the work that we did in preseason and some of the signings that we had in the offseason. So some similarities in the way that we've now, obviously we had to grind through the first 4 or 5 games, but we've hit our stride a little bit, and a lot of players are contributing in good ways. The personality of 22 was really different to what we have now. I think guys like Diego really help us, gives us a little emotion, gives us a little character on the field. And I think that's something that we need to continue to look for and be intentional about some of our next signings to keep that element, because it does pay dividends, not just in the short term, but over the course of a season, because it's long and it's hard. And we're going to hit some more bumps. It's not going to be perfect, but the guys have to stay committed and appreciative of one another and, continue to look for success. But, 22 was unique in its own way, and we'll continue to see how 24 evolves. But so far, the guys have taken in the information. I think we've grown. We've applied it in some good ways, but it's probably going to get harder before it gets easier. That's just the nature of this sport and this game. We got schedule congestion coming. We got the heat coming. So we got to stay focused and we got to stay healthy. We got to stay healthy.
That's for sure.
And Coach, and going back to your playing days many, many years ago.
Hey, chill out, bro.
I don't like thinking about it. My kids don't even believe I played at this point.
But going back to your playing days, is there any match that you vividly remember, or is on the top of your mind as like, oh man, this is like one of my most memorable moments, or a moment I wish I could have back, or just anything from your playing days?
It's more the experiences. I think when I talk to our players about this from time to time, what you have in sport or in life is just experiences. What sparks memory? What is the lasting memories? And I think of some of the experiences that I've had. Being at the Olympics was an incredible experience. The people that I shared it with, whether it was my family, the teammates, the coaches, the World Cups in Japan and in Germany, they're just big experiences, and they bring emotion, they bring memories. So it's, to me, that's more what I get at in games. I don't really remember specific games, obviously some specific moments that were big in my career, but it's more about those lasting images and lasting memories and the people that you share them with. But I don't get too caught up in the past. I just can't. It's so long ago, and there's so much going on now. It's challenging, but thankful for the opportunity and all the people that I was able to come across. It's influenced me to this day, and hopefully it'll continue to have a big impact on me going forward.
And let's speak a little bit about the present. What does Coach Wolff's spare time look like? This little smidge of spare time that you get when you're not watching film and you may not be given a social media scroll. What does that look like for you? How do you unwind?
Well, my wife and I, we try to do as much as we can with the kids. All my kids play soccer. Tyler, who's in Atlanta, if we're not playing, we're watching his games. We're talking to him. If he's here, or we're there, we try to do as much as we can as a family. My daughter plays soccer. Gavin plays with the U17s and the academy. Obviously Owen's with us. So it's tough to get away from soccer. It's been such a big part of our life, and it's given us everything that we have. So we embrace that side of it. But off the field, if we're at home, we have games we play, movies we watch. We go to pickleball. We love to go out to eat. We go downtown quite a bit. We're little foodies, and I've kind of dragged my children through that as well. But golf is something that we share a good bit with my boys, at least. So whenever there's a little moment, Ellen and I jumped on after we beat LA last week. We immediately went home and just jumped on the course for a little bit, just to get away. You have time to do something, you go and do it. The weather's good, and
what'd you shoot?
Owen and Gavin. I don't keep. Some days I don't keep score. Some days I don't keep score. I'll let Owen tell me how good or bad I was. But it's good. It's good to get off, to get away. We like going. The weather's going to get warm. We like going Lady Bird. We like Travis, Lake Austin, getting on the water. Like everybody, it's such a cool city. There's so much to do. Between food and doing things on the water and whatever we can. But we try to hang out as a crew and maximize, like you said, those moments that we have. Vacations are short, and when they are vacations, you find yourself still working. So it's challenging. My wife has sacrificed a lot, and so appreciative of her in this process as well. But my kids have been along for the ride. They understand what it's about, thankfully.
And can you take your coaching hat off real quick and just talking about the relationship between you and Owen? I know my dad was my coach, and so I know how special that is, at least from a son's perspective. And so just from a father perspective, you're at the highest level and you're coaching your son. So like, how dope is that just from a father perspective and not coach talk?
Yeah, no, I think, we set out, you want your kids to do what they want to do. You want them to enjoy whatever it is they do. If it's soccer or baseball or football, I think, the boys played different sports growing up, but it's hard. We're in this space our whole life. So they've always been excited about the game, and Owen's no different. I think he's developed over time into a very good player. And as any parent, you're proud of your kids regardless of what happens. But it's awesome to see these kids perform and do really well. They'll have the scrutiny of having the same last name as me and feeling like it's nepotism, but they're just very good players, and they've earned everything they've gotten. And I think it's just a step, and now it's maximizing that step into the next step. And for Tyler, for Owen, for Gavin, Ella, whatever they decide to do, it's continued growth. Don't get complacent, stay humble, stay hungry, keep setting some goals. And that's what I talk to all these guys about. And it's, that's more as a parent than as a coach, but you have to keep some enjoyment in what you do. And that's the most important thing. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, it's going to be tough to keep doing it. So, from that standpoint, they'll hear that often from me. But it's good and bad coaching Owen. Obviously, he's my son. I think what you have to realize with children inside a professional environment, they have to earn the trust of themselves and the players around them, or it'll never work. So Owen earned that quickly, and that's what made his transition pretty seamless. And Claudio identified it right away. And after we signed him, when he got his opportunity, he made an impact. And he's been able to be part of the U20 World Cup. He's been able to be part of our starting group and reserves, but he's got a long ways to go. But he's got a great opportunity, and he's got a good group behind him, staff, and certainly infrastructure in Austin. And his future is his future. He'll decide it. Coaches don't. Players make those decisions and what they want to do and how far they want to take it. And Tyler's in the same boat in Atlanta.
I'm sure Mrs. Wolff isn't happy that both her men are on the road all the time, huh?
She's got her hands full at home with Ella and Gavin, but that's the only way. It's a small village. It only works if everybody's working in the same direction. So she understands it.
Yeah, for sure. And you spoke about just the city of Austin. It sparked my mind because I had no idea what I was walking into when I got the job out here. And so when you got the job here in Austin, what were your expectations about the city? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't really travel around Texas that much in your coaching or playing career that much, correct?
No.
Yeah.
No. We'd come to Texas to play Houston and Dallas as a player and as an assistant coach, or even the national team. We had some events here, but I had no idea about Austin. You know what Houston is, you know what Dallas is, but I try to my best way I describe Austin is I tell people, think you've been to Dallas, you've been to Houston. It's nothing like those two places. So whatever you think of those two, go ahead and put those somewhere else, because that's not what Austin is. It's it just offers so much more, and from just the outdoor space, the downtown space. It's not overwhelmingly large. It's manageable. The people, there's a different energy. So, and maybe because it's more compact, but there's just a lot to do. The food is fantastic. There's plenty of things to do out and about. You can get anywhere in about 30, 40 minutes. So, and we've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed both being downtown and certainly where we live, but it's a cool place, and it has grown tremendously in 3.5, 4 years. I mean, the amount of growth, you see it from downtown.
You see it from the
crazy.
traffic.
Yeah, well, to some degree. I was in DC and Chicago. I still don't look at this place as being terrible traffic.
You're like, shut that down real quick.
There is some traffic. It's not yet anyway. It's not so compounding.
Yeah. Coach, one more, I guess, professional question, and we'll do some rapid fire real quick. But you kind of mentioned it earlier in our conversation about how the next transfer window and want to get more players with the personality like that. And so where do you feel like this team can improve on when it comes to additions for this club, and where do you think y'all should go when it comes to roster additions?
I think you always want to look for some upper tier talent. I think those are for Rodolfo, but we have good conversations about what our needs are. We've come into the season knowing what some of our needs are. I mean, we got some of our players real late in preseason, and fortunately they've gotten up to speed real quick. But when you bring in upper tier talent, let's think about when we brought in Sebastian Giussi, how quickly that changed the trajectory of this club. And not all DP signings are going to have that impact or going to bring that level of quality. So it's a level of expectations with DPs, but upper tier talent aren't just DPs. They're going out and getting other players that are, via our mechanisms in GAM and TAM. But, upper tier players, St. Louis decided it was on a goalkeeper. He's a DP. You can go get a forward. You can go get a fullback. You can go get attacking mids. But we need to add some upper tier talent. We still need to keep adding depth and quality to our group. Every team needs to keep improving. I'd say that's the biggest thing for us over time now. Hopefully going forward, we utilize these transfer windows in a much more robust way. I think we've missed opportunities, not missed. We just didn't really have the means to do it in the last 2 or 3 transfer windows. So in saying that, we've suffered a little bit, but we've managed to bring in 3 or 4 players in this last transfer window that were more domestic and used to our league, and that familiarity has also helped us get to where we are. And we stabilized a little bit. Bureau's come in, but the need to still bring in some players and talent, whatever the positions Rodolfo truly feels we need, it can be very impactful to the group. LA Galaxy, $20 million on 2 players. They went from 12th place to 1st place. I mean, it can be that instantaneous, and it can be that from a trajectory standpoint, impactful. So, we're mindful of that. We, like everyone else, wants to find the opportunity and the player to now help this club elevate and keep elevating. But it doesn't come easy. Rodolfo was working extremely hard, and as are we with the group that we have currently. But each and every week we want to give ourselves a chance to win, keep getting better, stay healthy, and give ourselves the best chance to perform well on every game.
Yeah, I heard that $12 million. You got to have money to get players. That's the first step, right?
No, they spent $20 million.
Oh, 20, yeah, 20. See, even more.
On 2 players, so 10, around $10 million a piece. But that's where this league is. You mentioned the value of our organization the other day, 21st in the world and 800 million. I mean, this league is now elevating in a quick way, and the relevancy is there. So player acquisitions are starting to trend that direction. So you got to be resourceful with it. Hopefully you get more of them right than you do wrong. But it's soccer. It's not an easy process.
There's no exact science to it, but there is science to time, and we got about 4 minutes left. So let's do a little rapid fire question real quick, Coach. Right. Now with these answers though, all right, quick. Yeah. I don't need you thinking. Okay. I don't need you thinking. I just need whatever comes to mind. All right. So Deon and I are going to go back and forth, and let's get this thing popping. So, Coach, first question. How many minutes do you think you can give the squad right now?
0.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't need no time for that one. What's 3 things you can't live without?
My family, clearly food, and soccer.
Love that. What app do you use the most on your phone?
Instagram.
Whoa. Okay. Big photo guy.
For food. Okay. No, I don't post anything. I just do it so I can see. I got, I'm the cook in the house, so I'm constantly looking for food. Of course, there's some golf stuff in there that I try to keep my eye on, but Instagram for, it's sadly there's so much food. I've saved so many things.
I understand.
You think I was a cook, but I'm really not. But I love food.
Go to dish real quick, Deon, before you go. Throwaway question. Go to dish. I didn't know you were a cook.
My guys I make chicken parm, chicken piccata.
Hey, chill out, Coach.
Anything on a grill, but that's not terribly hard. We got the griddle going a lot more. Smash burgers, they go crazy on and make our smash burger sauce. So,
oh wow,
he in his bag right now. Chill out.
He talking.
Can't get too carried away with it, but it's first and foremost you got to make the kids happy. So
got you.
Chicken parm, yeah, that sounds fire. Coach, what's a TV show that you're watching right now?
Say that again.
What's a TV show that you're watching at this current moment?
I'm terrible at these. These coaches got everything on Netflix. I just watched the Beckham documentary. I just watched. What else did I just watch? Seba gave us some headphones. He gave the whole team some headphones. So it was like the new little treat. I've been on Netflix downloading and watching, but documentaries, a few documentaries, not TV. I don't get a ton. The news, I watch you guys. I watch all.
Oh, whoa!
Oh, snap!
I didn't know. Now I gotta be on my P's and Q's. Golly! All right, last question for you, Coach. Who's a better coach, you or Ted Lasso?
I never saw any of those shows. Still to this day, I haven't. I've never seen them. So that's probably one I should look at, but I don't know. Most would probably say Ted.
Those are just the haters on social media, Coach. That's all it is. Don't worry about them. But anyways, I hope you have a sensational game today, Coach. You got a big game, FC Dallas. Of course, want to keep the momentum going. But I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us.
Oh, my pleasure, Cory. Deon, appreciate you having me on here. Anytime.
Hey, don't tempt us. Don't.
Yeah, some days I got more time than others.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize, the dude's about to have a game right now, and he took the time to talk to us. So thank you so much, Coach Wolff, for hopping on to the Mose Knows podcast. Deon, what do you like about the talk?
I mean, it's not really what he says, it's just his energy, man. He just seems like a real personable guy. I think I love seeing you can tell that him being a former player really contributes to him being a coach and, this great stretch that they're on. He seemed like somebody that you want to play for. And he, as you can see, they're starting to really lock in on defense. And that's a principle that he's really been preaching. And it shows. So I love his energy, man. He was a great guy to talk to. But what about you, Cory?
Yeah, I didn't know he was a cook. That was a shocker. First thing he threw out, chicken parm.
Yeah.
Respect.
That's not no basic stuff. That's not
basic, bro. You got to bread the chicken?
No, what I'm saying, that's not no basic stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Usually somebody say, yeah, I like to make spaghetti. And it's like, oh, okay, well. But now chicken parm is like, yeah, that's like, I really be in there getting it done. So.
Yeah, respect. Had no idea. But realistically, though, talking about the club and the team, and what he mentioned about the future transfer window, and hopefully he can get a specific type of player that can bring that personality, kind of like a Diego Rubio has done for this team. You can just see the difference when you bring a guy in that is just like a spark plug, some would say, once he's on the pitch, and having that type of personality on a team like this can only make it better. And so I'm interested to see where they kind of go when it comes to the transfer window, and if they're able to get some key pieces to hopefully push them over the top and get this playoff push kind of accelerated a little bit. But yeah, great job talking to Josh. Great question, Deon. I see you becoming a little journalist. I see it, bro.
You're rubbing off on me. No Diddy.
Hey, pause. No Diddy. Come on, bro.
Oh man, I hate this guy.
You can't say that though.
What an idiot!
Come on, bro.
We can't be serious for 1 minute. Golly.
All right, so yeah, big week for Austin FC. Like I said, they play in Houston on Wednesday. That's their next matchup. So can't wait to see how they're able to bounce back from that loss, though, to FC Dallas. But also a big week for WNBA. This is the first week of the regular season. Of course, everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese has been at the Met Gala and then flying over to their game against the New York Liberty and dropping buckets. Like, how about that for 24 hours for the former LSU Tiger? And, of course, Camila Cardoso is making big strides. Rickea Jackson out there in L.A., I'm not going to lie, D, looking good.
I'm telling you, I'm getting me a sign. I'm going to be the next house husband of the WNBA. So I'm telling you, look, to any of the ladies that catch this, Asia Wilson, Rickea Jackson, Angel Reese, Camilla. Look, your boy's available. I just need to get in the circle. I just need to get in. I got to tell Cory, I just need to get my foot in the door. That's it.
You're going to knock it out the park once you get the foot in the door for sure.
That's it. I'm going to be a WNBA groupie.
Front row.
Y'all going to see me doing a little, how the girls do the little RR. I'm telling you, I'll be at the game. But, me and Cory really wanted to talk about mostly this coverage that the WNBA is doing when it comes to the league, more specifically Caitlin Clark. We're not really here to bash Caitlin Clark. It's not really her fault that she's getting the coverage.
No, you're here to do that. You are here to do that.
Yeah, the WNBA, we gotta step it up, yo. Like, y'all don't look prepared. Like, over this last month, y'all just don't look like y'all are ready for the moment. Like, everybody's been saying, like, yo, this is the year that y'all need to be prepared. And, yo, I see I got the charter flights. That's cool. But the coverage has just been really uneven. I've seen Caitlin Clark so much. I mean, you would think she's the only player in the league. And it's just like, dang, how does somebody that just got, that's still preseason. I mean, still preseason. How is she getting all this coverage? How is she on all the flyers? Like, yo, shorty. And when me and Cory was having brunch, I showed him the graphic of, yo, they put her for the final game, the final in-game graphic of the score. And you would have thought either they won the game and she was the reason, right? She had most of the points, or she had a clutch bucket or something. And I went to go look at the box score. She went like 3 for 15.
Not a great game.
Not a great game at all. And I'm just so confused. Like, I understand, like, this y'all's cash cow. Like, we all get it.
Yeah, you gotta acknowledge that though, D. You do gotta acknowledge. Like,
we all know. Yeah. We all know this is our cash cow. But my thing is, let's not just make this your only focus. Y'all have a lot of great players in the league. Y'all have a lot of great storylines that could be in the league. Like, I think the dynamic of Angel Reese and Carmilla being on the same team, I think that should be a great storyline that y'all could run with. Like, yo, they was boxing a couple weeks ago. Now they're teammates. Like, I think that's a dope storyline that should be pushed. Y'all got Asia Wilson and went back to South Carolina. Nowhere on TV.
See, but the TV thing is different though, D. And I'm gonna stop you there because we talked about this. The WNBA has no say on what gets put on TV. Those regional networks have to say, yes, we want to run this on our airwaves. They can push for it. They can ask, Bally Sports South Carolina, Bally Sports East, Bally Sports West, whatever regional network is in South Carolina. They can ask for them to carry the game. But if they say no, they say no. The WNBA doesn't have their own production company. And so I think that's where a lot of the line gets towed, because these regional companies, these regional networks are saying yes to Caitlin because they understand that Caitlin brings numbers, brings viewership, brings money. But they're not as confident as, let's say, your example of Asia Wilson coming back to South Carolina, playing in front of her college town. That is a great storyline to me, but in their eyes, the TV network's eyes, it's not worth it, which is crazy to me. But I will say that though, I'm looking on their Twitter feed right now, and I knew you were going to bring this up, so I wanted to scroll through their Twitter feed, and WNBA did post a lot that day about Asia. But like you said, it wasn't on TV though, which I think is a problem. And this is a problem with the stigma of what the WNBA is from the outside. I feel like, I think from the outside, they're just now hopping on because of Caitlin Clark, right? And so they only think that's the only thing that can give them profit. But if they were to really dive into the sport, they would see the storylines like Angel and Camilla. They would see the storyline like Asia coming back to her college town. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's where the disconnect is at still, is with these regional networks and the guys that make their schedules when it comes to what comes on TV. And they need to recognize that, man, there's money to be made here. Just look at the ticket prices, look at the ticket prices. I know you tried to get a Dallas Wings game.
Jesus Christ, bro. The first, oh my God. I'm happy that the WNBA is selling out tickets, but I sent Cory the prices for a Wings game. For one, it's sold out. Congrats to them. First 3 games are sold out for the Dallas Wings. But I went to go look at the resellers. Bro, literally a year or two ago, I could get a damn near courtside seat for $40. I sent Cory to I hate resellers. Oh my God. The ticket cost $400. There's another seat I sent them, like courtside, like actual on the court, is $1,000.
We're talking about WNBA.
Like,
and Caitlin Clark isn't playing, guys. Like, it is Dallas Wings. They're playing Chicago, right?
Playing. Yeah, I think I can't remember who the first team is they play, but the second and third game are Chicago.
Okay, I'm about to say, I knew Chicago's coming into town, so I don't know if that's like the Angel Reese effect, where they can resell it that high. And if so, then clearly she has buyback value as well, if that's the case. But yeah, for it to be that high, Deon, like, that says a lot, though. That says a lot about the growth, because a year ago, like you said, you could have bought a ticket day of, and it still only cost you about 50, if that, 75.
Bro, I went a playoff game. I went to, like, I bought it an hour before, and it was still $25, $30. So the fact that this has happened so quickly, I mean, the inflation in it is like, damn. This is the new norm. It's becoming a luxury. It's slowly getting up to a luxury cost. Like, damn, I can't just get it off I got to plan ahead. Like, there's no more same day. Like, the resellers have joined the market, and like a lot of things, they just ruin it, man. They ruin it. They ruin a good thing. But yeah, like you say, Angel Reese is definitely another cash cow that I believe that y'all should focus on. And of course, you have players in the league as well that are great players that should be on TV more. But my thing, Cory, was not the TV, but you have a WNBA app, you have a WNBA League Pass. There should be the game somewhere on the app. I don't. There's that Asia Wilson game should have been somewhere. The game looked like it was packed out.
Why that wasn't televised somewhere.
It's. I should be.
That's a historic moment.
I shouldn't.
Like, what
exactly. Like, leading up to it, she's doing a bunch of press conferences, crying at the press conference. Like, to have been able to ask her after the game, how's it feel? She crying, she doing the ugly cry. Like, yo, that could have been a moment.
For those of y'all who don't know
but
the backstory with Asia Wilson in South Carolina, she has a statue at South Carolina.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about how important she was for this school and how much of an impact she made for that university. She has a statue and she's not retired. Like, I think that shows how important her coming back to campus really is. The fact that she already had a statue outside of the arena and she was able to come back and play in that same arena. That is a crazy story. And so, yes, someone should have televised that. Like, I don't understand either, Deon, but that just goes back to the point of the WNBA is slowly making leaps and bounds when it comes to the national audience, but they're still far, right? They're still not where they should be. And I'm interested to see after this year, though, how much of the wages, you know what I'm saying, how much of the gap between how much they make and how much they're bringing in, does that close at all? Are they having a way more profit this year than years past? So then hopefully their salaries start to increase. That's what I want to see by the end of the year. What do the numbers look like? What does the money, the bottom line say when it comes to all these rookies that came in and how much profit did they bring to the league? But yeah, with the WNBA app, I'm interested to see now with the regular season starting, how much games or how many games will be on the app. Because, of course, preseason, I didn't expect a lot of games to be on the app. But now with the regular season, I do. So will they utilize the app? And, you know, they're forcing people to buy the league pass. So if I'm going to buy this league pass, I better see a lot of games and not see blackouts.
And that's the thing I hate. Like, even if I was to get the league pass, I'm not gonna be able to watch the Wings anyway. So y'all gotta the TV, y'all gotta fix that, bro. I hate blackouts. I hate it. But yeah, look, WNBA. I think the biggest thing as fans, we do have to keep holding them accountable, because I did see one of the games wasn't being televised. We ended up putting a bunch of pressure on them or telling them how stupid it was that there's no games on, and they ended up picking up one of the games. So I think as fans, we do have to just make sure we keep holding them accountable, tell them that, yo, y'all got to step it up, so they can just continue to know that and hear us that, yo, y'all have a great product that y'all need to keep pushing.
It's a great product.
The money is
if
coming in.
Y'all aren't watching
the money is coming
basketball
in
right now. Y'all need to. Y'all really do, because they are hooping. They really are. And so I would just go out on a limb and say right now, like, just watch a WNBA game and see the talent level that's out there now. And it really is entertaining. And so, like you mentioned, Deon, they have a great product. They just need to push it. They need to push it now. So thank God they have chartered flights now. I mean, how much does that have to do with Caitlin Clark getting bombarded at the airport? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, you thought after the Brittany Griner situation, that would have been a great sign to get chartered flights when she got freaking harassed at the airport. But, you know, to each its own. We're not good. You know, they got it now. They got it now.
It's a step by step. You know, we hate that it is taking long on some of these things, but I know that they are trying. So I will give them that. Like I say, for my big thing, yo, I'm not saying bring Caitlin down. I'm just saying, yo, just highlight the rest of the league, and just, like I say, it doesn't have to be fair, but yo, just, hey, we're gonna make sure we showing love to everybody in the league so everybody can see the dope product that y'all have, and not just Caitlin Clark. So yeah, WNBA, y'all got to step it up. Chicago Sky, make sure y'all treating Angel and Carmilla with love. Did you see that press conference that for Angel Reese, like her first press conference?
They had nothing in the facility.
Yeah, like y'all got to
look over at Las Vegas.
Y'all are definitely
Las Vegas, bro. Their resources are crazy. You wonder why they win the chip every year. It's like, oh, they actually have a great locker room, and they have a great medical facility and training room and weight room. And it's like, when you invest into your team, then the product gets better. Wow, what a crazy concept.
It comes back.
That is so crazy.
It comes back on the back end, like Chicago, like I say, y'all definitely need to make sure that y'all are treating, y'all have two cash cows, so y'all need to make sure that y'all are investing everywhere y'all can with those ladies. They will definitely be the reason why y'all's organization is starting to come up and get a lot of more bread. So, I mean, this draft was really great. Like we named some of the rookies. And WNBA, Kayla's not the only rookie. So just like I say, there's some other rookies out there. Just show them some love. That's all we asking. But Cory, let's really quick. Let's talk about NBA. I mean, right now a lot of the series are pretty close. Do you have any favorites? Any highlights that you enjoyed watching from this last week? Anybody that you're thinking, hey, is going to make it to the conference finals?
First off, I said this on a radio station out here in Austin last Friday, and the question was like, can the Cavs upset Boston? And I just think that's so asinine to even ask that question. And this is before Game 3, by the way. This is after Game 2 when it was 1-1. And it's just like, if you watch the games, Cleveland has to play absolutely perfect for them to have a chance of beating Boston. Everyone's like, well, it's 1-1. They're going back to Cleveland. And clearly they showed it in Game 3. Cleveland's not good enough. Like, that's just simple as that. Like, it's not the fact that I don't think that they can't execute well. I just think their team's just not good enough. Like, as simple as that, even without Porzingis, because Cleveland doesn't have Jared Allen. So, yeah, dude, I think that series is not going 7. I have full faith that it may be a gentleman's sweep, if we're being honest, because everyone keeps talking about Donovan Mitchell. Oh, my God, he's playing so well. Yeah, he's the only one playing well. So he needs help. But, yeah, I that whole series is cooked. I don't know why people are trying to make it like a big deal. It's not. Celtics are going to be done with that series before Game 7. Now, on the other side, though, Knicks, the injuries are finally catching up. I think not finally. I shouldn't say finally, but
I didn't notice until they said it. But I thought they were getting guys back, but
they keep losing them.
They're still they're taking it day by day. What
they're getting beat up, bro. Beat up. I mean, like Rocky. Against Mr. T in the second one, bro. First match, though, not the second match. The first time they went at it, it was just bad. It was bad. One after another, someone's going down. I think after OG and Anunoby went down, that's when I was like, okay, that's the final straw. Because you talk about a guy who is locking up on defense, but then he provides an offensive spark and hits tough buckets, runs in transition. And is a really good piece for that team and a great pickup at the trade deadline, by the way. But you have no one to replace him. Like they threw Alec Burks out there, which respect to Alex is still being in the league, by the way, because he can score. But the reason why he doesn't get minutes is because he can't play defense. So, yeah, I think now the Knicks are kind of at that point where you can't trust the Villanova triangle no more. Like, it was fun while it lasted.
It was fun.
But even Brunson's beat up. So at a certain point, like, when is it going to stop? Now, I say all that to say Pacers versus Celtics, ugh. So that's a disgusting Eastern Conference final.
The East is so nasty. Like, we just need to fast forward and get that part over with.
And so, yeah, that's what I think it will be, the East Conference Finals. Now, the West is a lot more interesting. Before the playoffs started, I said the Nuggets were going to make it to the finals. And if not the Nuggets, then the Mavericks. So I'm going to stick with those two picks. Of course, Denver tied it up 2-2 now after a Game 4 win. They look dominant. They look like the Nuggets. And now the Timberwolves are looking like the Timberwolves. They're looking young. They're looking inexperienced. Only person that's really hooping is Ant and Karl Anthony Towns. Stop fouling people. Like, I just don't understand why he keeps fouling
I told you, bro. Off mic, I told you, bro. That guy, whatever it is, he just loves to foul. And it's like, yo, you're a key piece. Like Anthony said, you're a key piece, bro. We not having you at the 4 to stretch the floor, and you got Gobert that, I mean, offensively, he don't know what he's doing. I mean, he's just out there to be tall. It hurts that team heavily. So I don't know what it is. He just loves to foul, and he's one of those guys that fouls and doesn't think he fouls. And it's just it's tough. It's tough. I was a believer for those first 2 games. I think we all were like, yo, these guys look
great defensively. But the thing was with them all season, they look good defensively. Their problem has been offense. Like when Ant isn't on, that offense looks atrocious. Because like you mentioned, Gobert's just down there being tall. He has like no offensive game except for catching lobs. So Yeah, I think that's where they've kind of struggled these last couple of games is offensively. Outside of Ant, they can't create anything. And Mike Conley struggled a little bit. And like I said, Cat has been a big piece that they're missing on the offensive side of the ball because they need him to be dominant because he is a mismatch on anybody. And sometimes he just disappears. And, you can have Jaden McDaniels on the court to play defense, but eventually he needs to give you something offensively as well. So, yeah, I just think you're going against a team that has been there, done that, and a dude like Aaron Gordon can drop 27, right? Like any point, like he did last night. So I think that's the kind of struggle. I don't know if you heard Anthony Edwards leaving the press conference, but he saw the box score. It's like, how the hell did Aaron Gordon at 27? And that's what he does. In that offense, they utilize Gordon very well. And so sometimes you have nights where you key on Murray, you key on Jokic, and then Porter Jr. goes crazy, or Gordon goes crazy, or KCP goes crazy. And with Timberwolves, you don't really have that option, right now. So, yeah, I think that series is going to be good, though, to see how it all pans out. Same thing with Mavericks and Thunder, dude. Luka, you talking about doesn't think he fouled anybody. Every time anytime a whistle gets blown,
oh yeah,
Luka's looking around like, bro, what happened? What's going? Like, I can't stand that about Luka. Something like I love his game, I really do. But he is so annoying to watch while playing basketball at times. It's like, bro, just hoop.
Yeah.
So,
you know me, Corey. I don't like his game at all. I don't like the ISO ball. I don't like thinks everything's a foul. I don't like the no effort on defense. I mean, his defensive highlights are just hilarious. But I think that out of all the series, the Thunder and the Mavs series has been my favorite because I think on paper you might have thought that OKC was, I wasn't going to say sweep them, but would have made it more of a dominant thing. But, I mean, you see the Mavs finding a way to win. You got guys, the third, fourth options coming up big. How do you feel about the Hack Alive league?
I mean, you can't blame them. It's a playoffs, so you got to figure out a way to win anytime. I've never been a big like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Like, that's not basketball. I don't really care, bro. I'm trying to win the game. All right, and so
got to work on your game, big fella.
That's what I'm saying. Send him to the line, make him, and he did. So props to Lively for making those free throws. But yeah, I don't have any problem with the tactic. Like, we're all here to win a championship, and if this is the best way to do it, we're going to do it. Now, we'll say it has been interesting to see the complexities of game plans and, Dallas wants to slow everything down. OKC wants to make this like a track race. And so who's going to win that battle when it comes to tempo of the game? That's what I've been looking at every single game. And of course, in game one, they were running all over the place and OKC took advantage. And so game two, Dallas was able to slow things down with Luka and Kyrie. And then also PJ Washington was not familiar with your game.
Yeah.
Like, you have been
really big.
You have been killing it. And I knew he could, slight 25. Like, I knew he could do that. But on a consistent basis like this, didn't think he had that in his bag. I thought it was a situation where he'll give you 25 one night, and then like Tim Hardaway need to give you that another 25 the next night. And then let's say like Josh Green needs to give you another 25. Like, it was going to be a rotating door when it comes to that third guy. But PJ looks like, I am the third guy. And he kind of solidified himself at that point because he had a great matchup in this series. And so props to him for hitting threes in a timely manner. I mean, another straight game, we had over 25. Like, he's been hooping. And Gafford and Lively down low catching lobs. They've built this team, Dallas has. And this is why I picked them to go to the finals outside of the Nuggets in case the Nuggets get knocked out. They have two dudes that can close, right? That's figured it out, too, about how to close, Luka and Kyrie. They've known how to pick their spots, which is something they didn't have last year. But now you also have dudes that can keep them in the game to get them to that point in the game that's crunch time and let their superstars cook. Because, like I said, PJ Washington carried a little bit in game two. Even Josh Green had some big-time buckets to stop the runs of OKC. I think that's where they were missing these last couple of seasons, guys they can really depend on. And now they have a couple. And down low, you got dudes that can catch lobs. Like, this offense is ridiculous. The question with the Dallas Mavericks is, can they get stops? And they have been. These last couple games, they have been getting stops. So props to them. The series is far from over. I think this is the one series that goes 7. And I will be shocked if OKC doesn't come out and win game 4 to tie it up at 2-2.
Man, bro, I'm telling you, this is probably like I said, this is probably my favorite series. Then it'd probably be the Timberwolves Nuggets. But oh man, bro, I feel so bad for I feel bad for Giddey, man. Like I was big
Me
on his
too. I
bandwagon
was
last
too.
year. And to go from, being a damn near triple double machine to now you're pretty much unplayable is like, oh man, that's tough. That's tough, yo. Like they were talking. I was watching something. He was like, "Yo, just being a point guard that can't shoot the ball in today's league, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be super tough. If you're not Westbrook athletic, it's tough. Like you can be a great passer all you want, but yo, you don't have a mid range. You damn sure don't got a 3-pointer. I mean." He's trying to shoot the 3 with confidence. Oh, you're damn near under the goal guarding me. Oh, I'm gonna shoot this 3. Boing, bong. I'm like, oh man, it's not even rimming in. Like, these joints are bad, and it's just like, bro. So I think really for the Thunder, Chet has to find a way to be dominant, bro. There's just some times where he stays on that 3-point line. And I remember a possession. Kyrie was guarding him. He was sitting on the 3-point line. I'm like, no, you got to find a way to be by the rim.
And that's his next step, right, of development is being able to get down low. But like I said, when you have a dude like Gafford and Lively down there who are both athletic 7-footers, they can jump with you, and they move quicker than you. So trying to go down low and battle those guys has been a problem for Chet. So he's been pushed out to the 3-point line, which, of course, then makes matchups tougher on offense for OKC. So you're totally right. Like Chet needs to figure out a way to be effective. And then also with Giddey, going back to your point there, that just shows you the development of what Mark Daigneault has done with this team. He's changed the philosophy about how they want to play, and they want to run. They want to use their athleticism and basically play like LA Fitness, right? Like they want to get out there and just go fast break, fast break, fast break. Giddey doesn't fit that. Giddey's a slow roller. Like he kind of wants to set his own pace. He's kind of like a Luka type. Like he wants to slow the stuff down, set people up, dime them up, which is cool. It's great. But in this offense, it just doesn't fit. And so, yeah, it does suck to kind of see his role get pushed down to the bench. But I think it's working for OKC. And you got some dogs like Casey Wallace coming in, Isaiah Joe coming in, and they're hooping. So, yeah, this series is going to be very interesting. And Kyrie continues to make these crazy shots. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Whoever the videographer for Kyrie, I mean, he's creating beautiful clips. All his slow motion. I'm
with
like,
the R&B in the background.
This guy, like I'm gonna miss Kyrie when he decides to hang it up. And he's probably one of the guys that for the older generation, I want to see him get that ring. I think that would be great for his legacy. Just to cement, like, yo, he was one of them ones. You have this the Mavericks out of all franchises do that, and you kind of, hey, out of all this turmoil over these last couple of years when it comes to your name, your legacy, you went to a team, you locked in, nothing distracted you, no more tweeting, no more illnesses, and you cemented your legacy. Like, yo, whether you want to call him Batman, Robin, which it seems like him and Luka kind of change outfits every game. He's going to cement himself as, he definitely deserves that top 50, top 75 that his name is in. So really, lastly, who do you got for the finals?
Right now, of course, Denver and Boston. I'm going to just stick with my picks from the beginning. I think those two are going to make it out. Denver just continues to prove that they're experienced. They've been there. They've done that. They don't get rattled. Down 0-2, who cares? We're going to go to Minnesota and win 2. And I think if they were to play a team like the Thunder, Denver can play with them. They can do the whole let's run up and down the court thing. They love that. And even if they play a team like the Mavericks, and this is what makes Denver so special, they can play slow too. They're cool with that as well. Jokic setting everything up at the top of the key. We're going to do a little half-court offense. Cool. And so that's why I still want to stick with the Nuggets, because they're able to adapt to any matchup. And I always trust Mike Malone. Like, he knows what to do, how to counter, what adjustments he needs to make. And I like to go with the coach as well when it comes to this playoff run. And on the other side, I mean, I gotta go Boston, bro. If Boston doesn't come out the East,
Yes.
everyone needs to be fired. Like at this point, they are too good compared to everybody else in the East to not come out. And so if Missoula somehow f's this up, I'm just saying.
Coach again.
I'm just
Look,
saying.
see, the coaches don't.
He has the roster. Like, what are we talking about, bro? You clearly have the best roster. If you can't figure this out for the second straight year, get him out of here, bro.
So you wouldn't get rid of the guy that don't got a left hand?
You paid him. You paid him too much money. Like, you can't get rid of him. He literally signed a mega deal. So, I mean, you're kind of stuck at this point, unless you want to take that cap hit. But, like, or if someone wants to take that big contract, which I doubt anyone wants to trade for that huge contract with a guy who can't go left, like, you're stuck. So someone has to change, though. If they would have had, look, I will say this. I'll put this on record. If they would have had Udoka, they would have won an NBA final last year, in my opinion. He's that good of a coach. Of course, like, can't keep his draws up, you know. But other than that, though, like, he could coach. So look at the Rockets. Like, they played defense. That young squad locked in at the end of the year. And they started to play defense, and they started to play like a team because of him. And I think Boston would still have him. They would be NBA champions by this point. But they're not. So I think it's on Missoula for sure. They have the roster. They have the talent. They just got to make the game plan and stop shooting threes. I think that's their problem. They shoot too many threes.
No, that's the they live and die by the three, bro. They live and die. And like I said, like I was telling you at brunch, when they're making them, they look like the greatest team ever assembled. When they aren't on, they don't know what else to do. And they will keep jacking them up. There's no changing the game plan. There's no, all right, let's go more pick and roll. Let's, hey, Tatum, why don't you go to the post? Like, no, we're going to keep jacking
I don't really
them.
feel like it. I want to shoot threes.
In the paint? Nah, we're going to get our 30, 40 threes a game, and we're going to live with it. And so, I mean, like I say, at this point in the playoffs, it's now coming down to coaching. You're seeing who's the better coaches. And so I'm excited to kind of see how the rest of this unfolds. Like I say, I'm really big on, I want to see what the Thunder do. Like this is kind of a big year for them, kind of seeing like, hey, what piece do we need? Are we good enough? Do we need to go and trade some of these 70 picks to go get a big name guy? The Mavericks, like I say, I think a lot of us want to see. Like I said, I think
a lot of Kyrie haters. I want to say a lot of
one.
Well, I didn't realize there were so many Kyrie haters, but like I understand why they hate Kyrie. Like if you're not like a big fan of basketball, the art of basketball, I think if you're a fan of this sport, you can't hate Kyrie. Like what he does to the sport is something that we've never seen. Basketball players will say that. They'll say he has the best handles of all time. And so you counteract that with everything he's done off the court. Then it's like, okay, I kind of understand why you don't like the guy. But if you were just to put your blinders on and just look at him for strictly what happens on the court, he's a generational talent. And like you mentioned, OD, once he got to Dallas, he's been a clean sheet, right? He's actually been more in the light of a family man. Like I see every video I see of him is with his kids, like courtside. And so props to him for kind of building his image back up. His PR team's going crazy right now. And they should get a raise. I mean, we're being honest. Like they have changed his whole image in Dallas. And I love it because I really mess with Kyrie. And I respect what he's brought to the game. And I understand how a lot of dudes that we watch now that are superstars modeled their game after Kyrie. And so, yeah, I got to give props to him for stepping up and being the 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it, to Luka, and maybe bringing a championship back to Dallas, a city that, mind you, no free agents really go to. And so the fact that they got him in a trade is a big deal, but it kind of shows you that they needed somebody to trust Dallas, and he did. And now he's bringing them success. So, yeah, shout out to Kyrie and changing his image, no matter if you hate him or not. But, yeah.
Great pod. Episode 21. in the books. Of course, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Wherever you see us, hey, send us to a friend. Let them know we're talking sports. We're talking everything. Continue to show us love, show us support. We got a lot of big things coming in the future. So, yeah, definitely stay tuned. Final thoughts for this episode. I would say, I saw the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah, solid.
Banger,
Right.
banger, bro. I mean, golly, I love those movies. For me, that is like my favorite franchise all time. And so for this fourth iteration, it's completely separate from the first three. They're building like a whole new. It looks like they're starting to build a whole new trilogy. Kind of like Star Wars, how they go like 3 movies and they go to like a different person in a different time period. So that's kind of what this new movie is. They're 300 years in the future. So they're kind of basically just going off of what they think Caesar means to them. So they're kind of breaking down what their terminology is. And so movie was a banger. It was like 2 hours and change. Didn't even feel like it. Man, that movie was a heat.
Well, I said, what would you rate it, bro?
If you haven't seen it already, go see it. Oh, man.
Wow,
easily a 10, bro. I love those movies, bro.
I was going to go watch it the other night.
Bro. I love it
because I was solo dolo. I didn't have nothing to do. I was like, yeah, why not? I have a movie theater Alamo Draft House right by my crib. I could walk there. I don't feel like I utilize it enough. So I was thinking about going over there and just watching Planet of the Apes. Now I may go do it. No,
you should, bro. You should, bro. Like that movie, it's like I say, it's setting up for more movies in the future. And man, bro, I just love those movies, bro. Like it's shot well. I love the storyline of it. I love this just idea of apes and humans trying to get along, and there's some people that's like, yo, why don't we just coexist? And you got these other people that like, and it's mostly usually the humans in the movie that
F them
like,
apes.
Nah, I don't
F
trust you
apes.
apes. Like, yeah, F you apes. Like, and even in this one, it's kind of the same way. The humans are like, they're not trustworthy still. So it's just, I would see if we could coexist. From all these movies, you kind of can tell that the apes are smart, if not smarter than humans. But it's like humans are having an identity crisis of like, yo, nah, like we've always been number one on the planet, so that's just how it's supposed to be. And it's like we're in a new day and age
question,
now.
bro.
Like,
Random question. If that's
you got monkeys.
This question popped up during a show I was watching on Netflix. If there is like a catastrophe to happen, right? Let's say, we get invaded, would you want to die quickly, or would you be the type to kind of try to survive?
I would say F it, bro. Let's try to survive, bro. Like if I'm gonna die, I might as well try to survive anyway. I would see what's up. See if I can do it. Like, hey, see if we can get a group of people. At least, hey, yo, we're gonna at least try this. Like, I'm not gonna just put the gun in my mouth and say F it. Nah, this is crazy. Nah, I'm at least try, bro. It may not be I may not last long, but I can at least say, shit.
When I was swinging,
hey, God, I tried. Yeah, God, I tried, bro. I tried.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
Well, what about you?
The guy on the show, one of the guys on the show, he answered like, "I like my life. I don't like living," and I think I'm in that same boat. Like, I like the life I have, and I would fight for that. Let's say, if I have a wife and kids, but if they were to die, I'm good. Like, I don't want to stay alive. Like, did what? Like, if I were to survive without my wife and kids and like my job, like, what's the point? I'm gonna have to rebuild this whole city, like, just humanity. Got to start procreating again. Like, I'm not trying to do all that, bro. Like, without my wife and kid. So yeah, I would try to protect my life. Yeah. And if that life goes away, yeah, you got me, bro. I'm good. Shoot me down.
Wow. So as soon as you get captured. All right, man. Hey, y'all got me. That boy said he ain't gonna try to break out. He not gonna.
Just shoot me at this point.
He already got me.
Just shoot me. Golly.
Okay, you'd be the crazy guy that put your head to the gun.
Do it.
Pull the trigger.
Like the Joker. What is it? Dark Knight, bro. When Batman's driving towards him. Hit me, come on, hit me. Hit me. That's a sick scene. Love that movie, by the way. Sick scene there. Hit me, come on, hit me. It's like, yeah, I would be that guy for sure. but yeah, wow. My final thought. Speaking about Netflix, I was finishing up the Tom Brady roast last night, and one thing that popped in my mind though, seeing Bill Belichick out there, right? Him coming in, telling a couple of jokes. I actually laughed at a good portion of his stand-up. So, like, props to Bill Belichick for one, not only having the balls to go out there, but then also having a really good set as well. And I will say, like, not only props to Bill, but props to Nick Saban as well. Both of these, like, historic college football coaches, they recognize the times, right?
Letting loose.
And I wouldn't say both college football coaches, my apologies. Both of these great football coaches in general, Nick Saban college, Bill NFL. They don't have jobs, right? Nick retired. Bill couldn't get a job. And so they're recognizing in this times, like, let's be in media. And they had this facade or this perception about them from the outside world for their whole coaching career because they weren't open with the media. They weren't talking a lot. They were very closed off. And so a lot of people thought they were just mean human beings. But as Bill continues to open up that window a little bit and open up the blinds for us to see the light inside, like, it's really cool to kind of see this evolution of Bill. I mean, even starting with his Pat McAfee appearances, right? And he did a whole draft show with them. And now this roast with Tom Brady. Like, you wouldn't expect Bill Belichick to be doing a roast with Tom Brady. And him cracking jokes, right? And him smiling. Like, I think it's really cool to see them take that next step and kind of move on to their next life and them excel at it, of course, because they want to excel at anything that they do. And they prepare, they study just like they do with football, you know, because they want to be great at everything. And Nick Saban's doing a whole college game day set and having that time doing that. And Bill said that he's doing the Manning cast with Peyton Manning and Eli now for next season. Like, these guys are active. And props to them, because they could have just went back in their shadows at the crib. They're going down as arguably the best football coaches of all time. You could have been chilling, but instead, like, they want to be out in front of cameras, and it's not easy to do. So props to the old guys, man. You're doing your thing, and they're creating great content, and I'm enjoying every second of it. So congrats on y'all's next endeavors, and hopefully Bill Belichick can get a job though next year. I would hope. I would hope, you know, the greatest coach of all time can get a job. But yeah, those are my final thoughts, D. I guess that's it, huh? For the pod. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. As always,
let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed that episode. Stay up to date with Mose Knows by subscribing to Cory Mose on YouTube or simply searching Mose Knows on Spotify or Apple Music. Thanks for listening and have a great week.